For the past 3 weeks, I've been in Laos, a rather quiet place with less people in the whole country than the city of Bangkok alone. I'd explored the outback, cruising down sparsely populated rivers, seen magnificent waterfalls, quiet lagoons, and many of the other incredible natural wonders that Laos has to offer. To say that I was overwhelmed when I was dumped straight into the crazy hustle and bustle of a city that never seems to sleep would be a massive understatement. However, the charms and juxtaposition of this uniquely vibrant and diverse city quickly grew on me. So I invite you to join me for my first few days ever in Bangkok. I hope you enjoy. After an early morning wake up in Laos, it was finally time to head back to Thailand, but this time to go to Bangkok, a city I had never been to before and had heard so much about. After a bit of strife, I managed to make my way through to my hostel from the airport. Although it's not very much in the Thai psyche, I did end up getting sushi for lunch. However, I quickly moved back into the stereotype by getting some pad Thai for dinner, followed up by a McFlurry that looked extremely interesting and actually tasted surprisingly good. I don't know what it is, but trying big food chains in different countries I find very fascinating. So I'm heading today to Iconsiam, one of the biggest shopping malls, to A, buy an iPhone, B, check it out, and C, what else is around, because that's my agenda. When I arrived, it literally blew my mind. It was so big that I couldn't handle it, and I just went and hid in Zara. I've never actually brought anything from there. It was just familiar. This place is crazy. It's so big. I'm hiding in Zara because I know about it. I've been there before. Yeah. The thing about Iconsiam is just that there are so many shops, lots of really well-known big brands, but also a lot of niche stuff that I hadn't seen before. Whilst it was really cool realizing that the mall itself cost over 2 billion NZ dollars to build, really kind of threw me into a weird funk, because I was then wondering what the daily financial turnover must be, and also couldn't that money have been better spent elsewhere? After picking up the iPhone, I beelined for the downstairs food court, which was very crowded and also very expensive, as I kind of forgot that it was the weekend. I got some mango sticky rice with coconut ice cream, which was absolutely delicious, and then continued having my mind blown as I progressed towards the observation deck on the 7th floor. What I want to know is, why are there 2 Starbucks in the same mall? Does that not tell you how big the mall is? There's one on the 3rd floor and one on the 7th floor. Of course there is. This place had incredible views, and I was absolutely astounded by everything I saw all the time. When I was done and a bit hungry, I headed back to my hostel, where I checked out the rooftop and also found a copy of Bridget Jones's diary in the room, which I spent quite some time reading. A very enjoyable and unfortunately rather too relatable character in some ways. I then went and got pad see ew for dinner, which I hadn't tried before, and I think I definitely had mixed feelings at first, as I'll be honest and say I'm basic and very attached to pad thai, but it did end up being delicious. The next day I slept in as I was pretty tired and overwhelmed by the shopping bonanza, but I actually then went back to Iconsiam as I ended up buying the wrong iPhone. Turns out that the 128GB does not support 4K and ProRes log, which is the main reason I wanted to buy it, and don't worry if you don't understand anything I just said, but basically I got it solved and now have the 256GB version. As a resident film buff, I also wanted to watch Boy and the Heron, which was a pretty solid Ghibli film, I have to say. What a lovely bath. There's 2 escalators inside the cinema. Wild. Wild. That is what you want in your cinema. 2 escalators, lots of cinemas. I then grabbed a cheap 50 baht lunch of chicken and rice because, you know, I just spent all my money on an iPhone. Then also got a matcha ice cream which cost more than my lunch. If I'm honest, prices here do my head in because the mains are cheaper than the sweet stuff, and as someone with a sweet tooth, I think this is absolutely ridiculous. At the end of the day, I was rather tired and ended up visiting a pad thai place that I went to because it was only a 200-meter walk from my hostel. However, it became one of my most frequented places as the food was fantastic, and also they put peanuts on the table so you can add as much as you want, and for me, I don't think pad thai can have enough peanuts, so great situation. As a creature of habit, it is only fitting that I go back to the exact same place for pad thai again, because A, it was cheap, and B, oh my gosh, it was absolutely delicious. Overall, I did find my first few days in Bangkok to be pretty overwhelming and a bit more on the stressful side, so whilst I really like the city, it may be a bit too much for me. However, I have another week or so here, so subscribe to see me explore cafes, coffee shops, the Chatuchak weekend market, other luxury shopping malls and much more, and thanks for tuning in for this one. Toodles.